in the blender. Pels in the blender. From the dome to the court, we come alive. Red in the seats, feel that surge inside. When the crowd get loud, they shift the room. One run, one stop, and the whole thing bloom. Keep it clean, keep it true. Home floor shine when we come through. Every bucket count, every stop we chase. New Orleans pride, all up in your face. Bells in the blender. Turn it up, win on this.
Welcome to another episode of Pels in the Blender, man. Got my dog with me in the building, Cheddar Chad. You heard me? What's good, bro?
Top of the morning.
Absolutely. Top of the morning, everybody. Whoa, absolutely good signing, some versatility. Whoa, Mike Morgan, always tapping in. Appreciate y'all. Morning time, bro. Solid signing. We're going to jump into it. Hey, you already know Mason. What's good, Zilla? What's good, everybody? Appreciate y'all, man, for tapping into the show. We took a weekend off. You know, we have been working hard the last couple weeks. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we took a weekend off, everybody. But as expected, you know what I mean? We back top of the morning on a great Monday. Pels made some news, and we back with another episode. So we'll just jump right into it, man. The Pelicans signed Trendon Watford. Spent last season with Philadelphia. 1 year deal, not a camp deal, an official deal for the Pelicans. Averaged 6.5 last season, 77 from the free throw line. Not really a 3-point shooter, decent rebounder, a true role player from, people know Trendon Watford from LSU. So, early, essentially, this guy, 6'8", physical defender, whatever. Chaz, I'm gonna pass it to you. What's your thoughts on the signing of Trendon Watford?
I'm totally perplexed. Not from the standpoint that they signed another wing, because I mean, we've been talking about that ad nauseum. Like, they seem to be trending toward more interest in wings. Guys like Watson, maybe Cam Whitmore, Cody Williams, Spencer Jones, who went to back to Denver. So that part of the game isn't surprising. But what is surprising to me, and I have to get a little more confirmation on this, is that they still appear to have at least some level of interest in Ben Mathurin. Okay. So in that event, if that is indeed the case, in that event, what are we doing here? Like, do you have a team lined up to take Herb and Herb's minutes? Because that's the only thing that would make sense at this point. Like, to me, it's no sense in even playing coy about it. They're not going to come out and be like, we're trying to trade Herb. And I'm not sure that they, quote unquote, trying to trade him. But like, at this point, that's the only thing that makes sense. Because if this is indeed a guaranteed contract and not just some camp invite, and shout out to everybody in the chat this morning, if this is indeed a guaranteed contract, then you just dipped into the cap space that you had for it. Like, let's just call it $1 million. If you had $8 million, now it's $7 million. Like, you know what I'm saying? $6 million in space. So you still actively looking to move Hawkins, hopefully not take any salary back, but you're looking to do that. And not only that, if you, in the event that you aren't looking to move Hawkins, or you can't move Hawkins or whatever, you got 3 guys who are coming in for training camp auditions for what was the quote unquote final roster spot. Is that still ongoing? What does that mean, like, for uneven trades? Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, is someone going out is the question. Yes. And at this stage, I think it would have to be multiple people going out. Like, in my mind, it would make sense that it's like Herb and Hawkins going out because you just added this wing. You took up the final roster spot. It wasn't a position of need. Why'd you do it unless you're about to consolidate in some form?
I was kind of thinking the same thing. You know, we was talking about it a little bit. I think we've been trying to figure out what needed to be done to kind of kick the off season going, right? And based off who they've been, you know, rumored to have interest in, and you just listed the names. But I think signing a guy like Trendon Watford, and people been seeing him, you know, versatile wing. You talked about how they've been interested in wings this entire offseason, want more wing depth. I think we've been trying to figure out what was the move, because I think we've both been kind of saying if they solidified, like got a cheap guy that they thought could, you know, kind of suffice with the wing depth already. Because if you look at Herb Jones' spot, and not just to target Herb Jones, but it just feels like this is the obvious move of a player that is most replaceable, that's making big money, and that has a little, you know, reputation around the league. It might not be his value right now may not be as high as some others, but you may look at it and it's like, okay, if I get some guys that could replace this right now, I might be willing to take a little bit less on the deal. You know, I could create an opportunity right now for Sadiq Bey to start, right? And then that makes my starting lineup a little more, it's just talking about from a basketball standpoint, that makes my starting lineup maybe a little more feasible, right? Reward Sadiq Bey for the season he had last year. Reward Bryce with some secondary minutes for the season he had last year. And then you bring in a guy on essentially a minimum deal, 1 year deal. Don't really hurt you too much, but it also now allows you to take Herb Jones and Hawkins and say, okay, we have somebody that can actually fill those roles, so we're not losing too much. Now we have the opportunity to use Herb, use Hawkins in another deal, because we're not going to be wondering, okay, who can we get to do some of what these players did? Because if we look at Ben Mathurin, right, and I know you're talking about they do still have interest in Ben Mathurin. It's kind of like, again, where does he play? But at the same time, it's not just where does he play, style, fit, all of those things. Like signing a player like Trendon Watford kind of allows you to have Ben Mathurin on the roster, and you have like an offensive guy on your bench. But if Sadiq Bey is your starter, now you really have two, or if Ben does start, you have two wings that have like some scoring to kind of still work that out. But I just think it gives more of a opportunity to move people for more usable pieces. Like you might be able now to move Herb for the rebounder that you need, or you know, maybe replenish a pick or two. You just do a deal and replenish some of the picks you gave away at some point or something like that. So there's also those possibilities as well. What do you think in that sense, as far as just kind of like the kind of things they could do now that they made this deal?
It's tough to call, because I think anything you could do now post this signing, you could have done before. But also other opportunities have presented themselves, like the Cavs have created more salary via trading Schroeder. You know, we saw a couple moves being made recently. Michael Porter Jr., that's probably become more of a thing now.
That's true.
You know, so there's other things that have kind of some runway has been cleared in some areas, but like I'm kind of confused, to be honest, because my presumption was, in the event that they cleared Hawkins, then they would add the wing or perimeter player, right? Adding him with Hawkins still on the roster I don't know if that gives you more flexibility, less flexibility. I don't know which direction you're necessarily looking to go in, because it's really it's only so many minutes to go around. Even if you anticipate certain guys may not finish the year on the Pelicans, it's still only so many minutes to go around. Then when you take into the equation, well, look, Derek Queen is going to play a lot of minutes at probably the power forward position, right? Or maybe some backup five. He's going to play some front court minutes. He's probably going to play about 28 minutes in the front court, right? So then you still got a couple other guys in the front court. Sadiq Bey needs minutes. Carlo needs some minutes. Eve, of course. So it just it's interesting to me, like, where does this guy, where does TW fit in the equation? So and I'm cool with the signing. I'm happy about the signing, but I'm just like, I need to see the next move so I can get some clarity, because I know what I think. I know what I think, but so far none of my thoughts have really come to full fruition. Like, like I say, the Pelicans, they gotta show me they can get deals across the finish line. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I agree. I like the signing, like you said, kind of like individually, like the signing like of itself. I do like the signing. I like the player. Especially I like it's a 1 year minimum deal. Don't hurt your salary for next year or nothing, because I know we're big on the flexibility for next year as well. So like just doing that, I'm kind of okay with that. Initially when I saw this too, and I thought about like the roster per se, is a different kind of player, but this kind of reminds me also of like Jamahl Mosley and how he used Jamal Cain to a degree. Big wing, didn't really have much expectation going into that season, and you ended up seeing that guy be utilized in a variety of ways and get some real opportunity. Ended up starting some playoff games for them as well. So I just think they want to initially the signing also, because I agree with the move standpoint, but I also think that they wanted to give Jamal, because it was kind of like, why make the deal now? One, I think to the point of it don't really hinder you from any of the other things. I think you make this deal because that particular guy just gives Jamahl Mosley a little bit of security, like in comparison to like what other players you might move, right? Like, I don't think Hawkins to a degree is of any consequence if they move Hawkins, right? Herb Jones to a degree, a lot of people talk about Herb Jones in a sense of, if you take Herb away, other than like Bryce and Peavy, who are your like for sure defenders on the team from that spot, right? So I think if you have Watford's a bigger wing, I think if you give Jamahl Mosley a little peace of mind and say, hey, we getting ready to maybe get a little more active, like you said, some things are more available to us. It might cost you this player that you thought that you would have. Maybe you were game planning some of your defense around some of your system. So it's kind of like, look, we got you a guy that maybe can slot somewhat into what that guy does, and even if he doesn't do exactly what Herb Jones does, you'll still have a variety of wings more available to you. So if we start taking pieces away, you have somewhat of a flexibility. I kind of want to transition to like, if this signing is indication that a move may be imminent, what is your desired move? Like, what would be the move that Chaz does now that we have a little bit of flexibility? And we don't know what they'll do, but if this was Chaz and they made this move, right, it's kind of like, all right, Chaz, now let's go get something done. What would be the route that you take with this particular move?
Man, honestly, I'm kind of I'm a little perplexed, honestly, okay. Because I'm like, like, yo, I mean, everybody's still on the roster, so I'm kind of like, if you mean for a talent acquisition, I will go out and find either the best shooter or the best defensive rebounding I could find. Like if there was a pathway, go ahead.
Not to cut you off, I'm sorry. I guess let me ask you this way: if this move was here, now do you feel like, okay, now I know I have Herb Jones's salary to use, because now I do have enough, like, and like maybe I just transition like Herb Jones's salary to a big or like a actual rebounder at that point. Like, so now instead of having to look at minimum deals for a rebounder, now I could look at, you know, somebody maybe in the 14 to 18 million dollars. Like maybe I'm more willing to do a Daniel Gafford type deal, or maybe you know what I mean, something like that.
Yeah, I just feel like you could have always done that.
Okay,
that's the thing. Like now, unless the market shifted behind the scenes with everyone, and we, you know, I just wasn't aware, you know, if that's the case. But I just feel like replacing Herb isn't some tall task.
Gotcha.
So it's like you could have always done something along these lines. That's why I'm like, so are you planning something bigger to consolidate? Because now I feel like you got to make at least 2 roster spots. That's how I feel, because you still need depth at center. Like you still could use Koloko maybe, and you still need shooting. So neither one of those really get addressed in this move. You just pretty much replaced Herb. But Herb is still on the roster. So now you gotta use Herb, and now you gotta move Herb and Hawkins, in my opinion, like both of them. At this point, if it was a suggestion before that Herb had to go, if it was like a nice idea, now it's like, no, now you need to do this, because it's way too many cooks in the kitchen along the perimeter, and you still have all the same needs you had before you did this move. So now Herb is a super duper luxury. Like you have to move him now. And I hope they do it. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Let me ask this. This is a good point. Shout out to you, Jeremy. Do you think a move like this, I don't think it does necessarily, but do you think a move like this also allows you to go shopping a little bit more with Trey? Or is this type of deal not necessarily in, because I don't see the Watford having anything to do with like allowing Trey to be more flexible, because you don't address shooting with this you know what I mean, with this move necessarily. But just to, you know, pose the question, do you think you know what I mean, do you think this has anything to do with maybe some new information on Trey, or maybe more people calling, even if it's not about Trey, maybe calling about some other teams that they've been in contact with, because I know we've been talking about, you know, since MPJ has, the news about MPJ has come out, Brian is chosen where he's going to be, you know what I mean? Like, I think
I understand the question. No, I don't think it's necessarily Trey related. I do think that, I don't think the Pelicans and Trey relationship will go on too much longer, but I still think that the fact that they used a roster spot for this, if this is indeed a guaranteed deal, the fact that they used a roster spot for this is, you know, interesting. Now, the Pelicans have been prone to making mistakes, or at least mistakes. So it's like, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if something came out and it was like, oh, we thought it was unguaranteed. Like I wouldn't like like that wouldn't shock me. But at the same, now you can't do uneven trades necessarily, like, because you don't have an open roster spot. Yeah, you can waive someone potentially, like in a deal, but it just makes certain maneuvers a little bit harder. And again, you have less money to offer someone like a Ben Mathurin if you were indeed still interested in pursuing him. Where would he fit with this roster? Even if like you moved Hawkins and brought in Ben Mathurin, so you just brought in 2 wings without moving any wings. It's like, nah, you gotta move a large minute wing. I saw someone on Twitter was like Jordan Poole. I'm like, no, that's not that type of player. It has to be another like low usage grunt player that gets a lot of minutes. Like it honestly, like
it signals Herb
to a T. Like to a T. Like even if you want to say, well, Sadiq Bey, like maybe the Sadiq Bey, that even if the extension was awful, like if it wasn't going nowhere right now, you're gonna carry him into the year more than likely on $6 million.
$6 million.
So, but this is, and look, I'm not mad at the move at all. If it is a precursor to a Herb move, cool. I don't know what I would be comfortable with because I don't like Gafford's deal. So I don't really know what I would be comfortable with. And if it's not Michael Porter Jr. or somebody like that, it's a bonus. If it's not one of those deals, then I'm kind of like, I don't know. I guess I would be indifferent. Like, I guess it's still the opportunity that maybe you do something for Jalen Smith in Chicago with Hawkins. I guess that's still
that would be interesting.
That would be, or even Herb for Jalen Smith. And that would be Herb for Jalen Smith, maybe a first or something like that. That would be interesting because Jalen Smith's aspiring. Of course, Bryson has the relationship there. I wonder if the plan now is I'm attaching Hawkins to Herb. I just wonder if that's the plan. I was wondering that
as well. Yeah, that gives you a lot of leverage. Let's say, and I don't necessarily like the player per se, but if you did Herb and Hawkins, that puts you at like 22 million. If you did Herb and Hawkins for Miles Turner, I know a lot of people mentioning Miles Turner, but just to throw it out there, that's 26 million. You still create the roster spot and you get a space and big. I wouldn't necessarily hate the move, but you know what I mean? Like that's something that maybe is on this table at this point. Would you, and I don't know what Miles Turner's value is. I'm assuming him and Herb are somewhat similar. I guess Milwaukee could look at it as we got the expiring in Hawkins, and then we just get a little bit cheaper for Miles Turner's deal down the line. The Pelicans get a center, that could space a little bit and whatnot, and you still not. The salary is similar to Herb's, just a little bit more, but it's similar to Herb's and Hawkins down the line. What would you think about something like that?
It would be Herb and Hawkins for Miles Turner in that scenario. You said, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't love it, but I certainly wouldn't hate it. I got to see exactly. Oh, give me 1 second. Let me see exactly how much Miles Turner makes.
It's like 26 almost 26 on the nose, right under 27, something like that.
Yeah,
but I think it's for like the next
26.5. So him with Hawk, that'll be 21. So you take like a $5 million hit, you clear salary spot. Yeah, but
I think he got 3 years left on his deal, if I'm not mistaken.
If you do that, then you've done this offseason. I will say that if you do that, you're done this offseason. Because now you only got about the vet men to play with, to bring somebody in.
You could use you could still have your camp out situation and give one of those guys.
Yeah, give one of those guys maybe
or somebody like that.
Houston, somebody. It's gonna be interesting. I wouldn't mind that. As long as I wasn't attaching any salary to it.
Nah. Well, you mean any
draft capital? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Nah, I think a deal like that, to be honest, you could do kind of like 1-for-1, because I think Herb and Miles's value are probably similar from like a pick standpoint. The contracts aren't that, that drastic. And then I think, again, why would Milwaukee do it? It's kind of like, look, we get off Miles Turner, save us a little bit of salary down the line with Hawkins expiring, or maybe they try to reroute him or whatever the case may be. And then, I'm not even talking about from a basketball fit, but like they could use a defender out there with all of the players that they have as well. Most of those guys are offensively driven players in Milwaukee. So maybe they, they just take a chance on a wing to kind of help while the season go along. You sell that to your fan base. Look, we cleared up runway for Khalil Ware to get most of those minutes, and then you sell it to New Orleans. It's like, look, we finally got a true spacing 5 to, a guy who's actually started, can play the 5, even if you don't like the rebounding, we went got an actual 5. So now you got a 5, you got you a cheap, versatile wing. And for those who haven't seen, if you don't mind, chat, for those who haven't seen Watford play or don't know much about Watford's game, because again, we're comparing Watford to, like, he's not truly a 3-and-D, but he's because he doesn't get the volume of shooting or anything
like an undersized 4.
Yeah, so I'll play a couple of his videos, some of his games and whatnot, so people can get a good idea. Whoa, what's good, bro?
Whoa,
absolutely, man. Look, you got to be on guard, bro. We liable to drop a show at any moment. I know my people be moving in the mornings, be trying to get themselves together, pick you up if you in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, it's 9 o'clock for y'all. Yeah, it's 9
o'clock.
Ooh.
So sometimes you need these shows to kind of help get your morning going and whatnot.
The morning show.
Absolutely. So we'll play this is one of Watford's better games in November. He had a triple-double, which was from the past season. So we'll play some of his better games so y'all can get a good idea of what his game is like. Again, finish, and I specifically see him in like the Herb Jones kind of role, hustle guy, you know what I mean? Just kind of like, look, catch and shoot. He doesn't shoot threes often as well, so like he'll shoot them, but it's more so like I'm just he's not like out there shooting 7-8 of them a game either. Nah. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to, you ain't got to worry about a
low usage guy
kind of. Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to the homie Lito, man.
Whoa, what's good, bro? Appreciate y'all.
Shout out to the homie Lito, man. What's up, big dog?
Look, making some good passes, you know what I mean? Just plays team ball, in my opinion.
Is the video buffering for you?
Not for me. It's rolling pretty smooth. So I mean, I don't know about everybody.
Joshua said it's skipping for him too. You might have to refresh the stream. Well, not the stream, but the YouTube video. You may have to you may have to refresh it real quick. Sometimes it buffers and shit.
Yeah, hold on, y'all. My bad. Let me see. Did I pull that off the screen? Nope. Sorry. There we go. I don't know if is it better, bro? Just let me know if it's rolling a little bit smoother.
Oh no, it's still skipping. Shit, you might have to download that motherfucker and upload it.
That bit. Is it that video moving like Kevon Looney? Yeah, look, man. Hold on. Yeah, it ain't. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. It ain't the most. Let me see. Let me take it off. I might have to. Let me see if we do it this way. But essentially, the idea is Trendon Watford plays more like you know what I mean, like a true off-ball, low usage. If y'all been seeing the videos with Trey and whatnot, it's kind of like he's not doing nothing over the top, but he's had some complete games like points, rebounds, assists. Here we go. Let me see if I can get this one to work. It's probably because I had it queued up before we started. Let's see. All right. Y'all let me know if that video playing a little bit better. Okay, defense.
You're gonna have to download this, huh?
That bit is still acting up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to download it. It just might be StreamYard today. StreamYard probably still asleep.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. If you just download it and do the share file, share video file, it'll upload. But bro, yeah. like you saying, like to me, he's one of them guys that if he scores 8 points for you, that's an exemplary game for him. But that's why I think someone like that's why I think whoever he's replacing in the rotation has to be a low usage person as well. That's why, like, unless you was trade for Michael Porter Jr., and I don't know why you would do that. But if you were doing something along those lines and replacing those, because you gotta, to me, he averaged 6 points last year in limited minutes. Herb averaged 8, right? Now, it ain't as simple as just like points. You know what I'm saying? No. It's not as simple. He averaged 3 rebounds. He averaged 6, 3, and 2. That's about what Herb averaged, and he only played 16 minutes a game.
16,
right?
Yeah.
So, you know,
it's not like you're expecting them. That's another thing too. You're not expecting Watford to listen, man. Look, all right. Look, so this is what I'll do, y'all. Tap in. I'm not gonna play the video on here. Tap into the X. I might create just like, I mean, again, man, y'all can do y'all research on it, but I'll put some of the highlights on the X of the Trendon Watford videos and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for those a little bit later. We ain't gonna ruin the stream with them. But the thing about, again, Watford in general, if you just want to talk about the player specifically, he's just a multi-use, low usage kind of guy, similar just to the player that you've been wanting them to add, to be honest. A guy who also knows his role, and that's, in my opinion, the more important thing. Like Bryce was a guy who, when he got an opportunity, played his role, wasn't overly, trying to do too. Again, you wouldn't see Bryce go 2 for 9. Like, he just won't take that many shots away from the guys. Now, if you got it going, that's one thing as well. And again, with Watford, again, you see him as a bigger, more physical style of player, be able to get to the rim, finish around the rim a little bit more, putbacks, will battle with rebounding and whatnot. So, like, moves like this, I think, help the rebounding as a collective, because the more players, like, for example, we talked about Ben Mathurin. Ben Mathurin for his career is a relatively good rebounding, a good rebounder. Guard. So it's kind of like, even if you're playing a player like Ben Mathurin, he does well out, like when he's out on the floor rebounding the ball, similar to like MPJ when we talk about those kinds of players. So getting a guy that rebounds, a center that rebounds, obviously helps. But at the same time, whoa, what's good, Ken? Appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button this morning. But these types of moves by just guys that just naturally rebound or naturally physical styles of players, I think that helps the overall theme of what it is you're trying to do. Like Koloko, to a degree, you brings in just a more physical type of player,
imposing guy. Same thing with Watford. It's just like guy been in the NBA, journeyman type player, physically can do it all for the most part. Play the 4, get you some minutes, probably some very small ball minutes at the 5. Nice handle, could pass the ball, could probably knock down a wide open shot. Could get downhill. This a big, strong physical wing. Kind of in that Miles Bridges mold, PJ Tucker mold, Sadiq Bey mold. He got a little more wiggle to his game than Sadiq Bey. Of course, Sadiq Bey is a better shooter, but just overall score, better player. But 25 years old, I think it's a very solid medium upside plate. You know what I'm saying? I know from what I was told, they do have an affinity for Southern guys, Midwest guys, just like blue collar type players. So this certainly fits the mold. Again, I'm just interested, like, in what this means for the next move. I think now, if this is the first step, it would be interesting, because this is why I don't think this is a replacement for a Trey or Sadiq or even Poole to a lesser extent. I don't think this necessarily
some of your offensive players.
Right. I don't think this is a replacement for guys who get buckets. Now, there's a world where Watford doesn't play, but this is why I think he may play because of his physical tools for one, the rebounder for two, and also this is a guaranteed deal. This is a guaranteed deal, if I'm not mistaken, unless we hear otherwise, for a roster spot that you didn't have to give. Like you didn't just have like, damn, we got 12 players, we got to sign somebody. You didn't have this roster spot to give, to be honest. So the fact that you did this to me means you really wanted this player. And if you really wanted this player, he gonna have to play. And you're gonna have to find minutes for him to play.
Let me ask you this. Do you think he is a like a bona fide NBA player, or is he one of those fringe NBA guys? You know what I mean? Because we have that's a good point, Jovenel, guaranteed player for a non-babysitter. He's got to be playing. I agree with that also. But I think Watford is an actual NBA guy. You know what I mean? Like we've had a lot of guys on the roster where you just kind of like, man, this guy is one step away from not being in the league. I don't know if I'm not saying he's one of the greatest players or nothing like that, but like, you know, I think based off the wings that they had been looking at, right? I think, whoa, what's up, Chris? Appreciate you for tabbing in all the way in Mexico. Look, you on vacation too. I feel that. Oh, yeah, man. I know. Shout out to Pops and, you know, what y'all got going on out there. I hope y'all having a good time. But that's a you know, interesting thought is, again, a lot of the players that we've been looking at, I don't want to say they're fringe guys. I don't know if he's fringe. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think he's a fringe NBA player or he's like an actual? You think so?
I think you fringe until you get like you start averaging at least like 25 minutes, you know, double digit points, double digit rebounds, something along those lines. I think he's a fringe guy. And my thing is like, I don't really, you know, no, I don't think neither one of us really care because how you find your way in the league is irrelevant.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You here now. So
yes.
And I think every team has roles for guys like Kenny Hustle has spent his entire career has been a fringe NBA guy. And Kenny Hustle is still in the league cashing checks.
So I would look at Kenny Hustle as like I think we just view it different. I think he's a NBA guy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't consider him fringe, but I know what you mean. It's like he don't move the needle either way, but he is an NBA guy. Like I get what you mean.
Yeah. I think he could be one of those glue guys that really come in and like get a big rebound, big defensive play, big bucket and one bucket, nice defensive stop, and he adds some size and strength along the perimeter, which they desperately needed. I do think that there will be an inevitable changing of the guard along the perimeter. Like as far as like these dudes are skinny, you know, they skinny, they're a little fragile, and the buy-in not necessarily there. So I think they like, all right, we got to start making this roster a little bit in our image. So this, to me, seeing even one of the other people that I had heard that they may have some interest in, and Cody Williams, big physical wing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Talent is debatable, but big physical wing. Like Spencer Jones, big physical wing. Kuminga to a lesser degree, but he's a big physical wing. Like everyone I've heard that they had some interest in along the wing have been big physical guys, not like really scrawny players. Even Mathurin is a physical guard. So
these guys are 4/3s. You know what I mean? Like they all can play. I just wanted to pull up some of Watford's better games from from last season. And again, he played for Philly rotation, but he had some really good moments. Again, he had a 2010-17 rebound game against Toronto, played a lot of minutes. That one had a 20.9 rebound, 4 assist game, 19-point game, 9 rebounds. Again, look at the rebound assist games. And these are all, 25, 30 minutes. One of them is a high minute game, but you cooking at that point. But again, 16 points. And during the regular season, you need random role players to be able to offer you just some nights, you know what I mean? Just have those kinds of moments. And yeah, Juvenile was, you know, they had some interest in Cody, as in Jalen's brother.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to say that
don't want to say they're reporting that, but it's just kind of
I heard that might potentially possibly could be a situation or someone that they could have some interest in, just based on a number of factors. I don't want to come out and just say that, just based on a number of factors.
Yeah, the Toronto game was pretty legitimate. Okay, that hurts to hear his brother. See that I've been saying his brother is cheeks. Listen, I've been saying me and Chaz kind of been talking about it. I was like, Cody Williams is not one, in my opinion, to have interest in, which I'm glad they made a move like this as opposed to, you know, something like that. But again, just a more regular type of night.
Save you some money. I think that might have been in a world where you traded Hawkins. I think that might have been in that world because the money is about similar. So I don't think they had interest in him from the standpoint of like, we love this guy necessarily. I think it was just like, we want a big wing, maybe the money matches, and this will help us clear, you know, Hawkins. We can address, quote unquote, a position we'd like to address and clear Hawkins simultaneously in that event.
Yeah. So I was saying the same thing, Juvenile. Like that wasn't one of the ones. So I'm glad. Listen, bro, y'all talk about, a lot of people don't understand as far as like we talk about moves that could be made. I don't think a lot of people understand the moves that are not made that they've been kind of linked to that would be you know, more detrimental to the team moving forward. But I mean, realistically, bro, it's not like too much to discuss when it comes down to this particular move. I just think we're all kind of on the same page that this particular signing, I think the signing itself is good individually, right? It's a good move for a potential rotational player. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You know, I don't think it's a good move unless you're trading somebody, because
that's my belief. I think it's a good move that is like, I feel like this move allows me, for me personally, I just think this move signifies, because initially I was like, they're not doing anything, right? I personally believe they were just going to sign one of the camp guys and then roll into the season like that. Signing Watford, to me, makes me believe that it's like, okay, something is on the cusp with Hawkins and Herb. I don't know what, but it just gives me more confidence that something can be done, at least with those guys. Whether it's, now we'll see what that move could be, but just immediately we were able to think of like, okay, now it makes a Miles Turner deal, in my opinion, more realistic. It makes to me, maybe you consider, now it just makes, you can use Herb Jones's salary in a couple different ways. Like maybe there's ways you create the Michael Porter Jr. deal now. It just for me, it gives more options to what it is you could do. So that's just kind of how I view it. So like, again, it don't matter until you follow it up, right? Like you have to follow through. But to me, it just puts you in position to say, okay, boom, I got a little bit of a safety net, because I could say, all right, I got Sadiq, I got Bryce, I got Watford. I have some physical wings already. Now let me see what else I can do with Hawkins if I need to. Not the move that would have, to me, the move that would have been more concerning, even though I know it's one of those, like if they would have just waived or just moved Hawkins, right? Like if they would have just waived Hawkins, I would have been more like, all right, now what are you going to do there? Because the only thing you really could do at that point is just like sign Matherin, right? But then that don't necessarily help you because you still got to move Herb. As opposed to I look at it now, you can, okay, now I can pair Herb Hawkins and maybe DeJounte and go get somebody, or you know what I mean? Like maybe there's a couple deals more available to you now because you're looking at packaging those two or maybe more and moving forward.
Yeah, I just gotta see what the next move is. Like that's why I really said I don't think this is a bad move. I only think it's bad if you don't move a wing at this point, right? Like if you, and to me Hawkins don't count because Hawkins wasn't gonna play. So if you don't move Herb, or if at this point, I don't believe they're moving Trey at this point in the in the offseason. I think it's going to be an in-season thing or next offseason, right? If it's not Herb, Trey, or Sadiq Bey, I'm perplexed because like I would just need to see this. I need to see what the next move is. I need to see. I need to see what the follow through is on this one before I can really give it a grade. On its face, I'm like, well, this is a cool signing, but it's hard for me to really say because I'm like, he wouldn't play, and you don't have any more roster spots now. And again, you got the same needs yesterday that you had today. Well, you got the same needs today that you had yesterday. Like he don't address shooting, you know what I'm saying, or defensive rebounding or rim protection necessarily. So you still need to address either any of those things. He just would help you with, you know, a physical, reliable wing, come in, play some defense, get some rebounds, you know what I'm saying, give you good 15 to 17 minutes, something along those lines. But now you got, because now you got to follow it up with, look, Herb, Hawkins, well, really Herb, like, because Hawk, I anticipate is gonna be gone, but Herb, all right, now let me just go ahead and get the best deal I can get for him and move on.
How would you feel? And I'm just throwing out some names, just, you know, consideration of like players in like the Herb Jones salary range. What do you think about like Herb for Wendell Carter, something like that? And I'm not saying that they would do that necessarily, but like that's just somebody kind of in a center in the Herb Jones range, have like some familiarity with Mosley. Like, how would you feel if that was the follow-up move or something like that?
I don't think I can see Orlando doing it because they don't really have a center, but I would accept it.
Move you either.
I would accept it.
Do you think that would fit like a need as well, or it don't really fit the need?
It would be cool. Like, you know, it would just be one of those things where it's like, all right, like, you know, fuck it. You know, fuck it. It is what it is. I cleared a little bit of money. You know, so I'll be able to clear at least about $3 million. You know what I'm saying? That would probably get me to about 9 million, maybe about 9, something, maybe 10, maybe. But
do you have a preferred move? Like, do you have a preferred move that you would like to make? Now that you know, okay, this should signal this.
If I could get, well, I know Orlando ain't got no first and no shit like that, but if I could get like some picks in that, like if I could get a first or like 4 seconds or something like that, 3 seconds, I would do it then. But I don't know if I necessarily have a preferred move. I do think that they need to clear 2 roster spots, and they need to clear like roster spots and minutes. Need to clear roster spots and minutes. So I probably, if it has to be Herb and Hawk, if it has to be those two, and that's about 21 million. If it got to be those two, then Wendell might be one of the better guys you can get in that scenario. I don't think Jared Allen's available. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the Pelicans
probably.
Yeah, I don't think the Pelicans would really have any interest in anything. From based on what I was told, I don't think they would have much interest in anything coming from Cleveland.
You think the Herb for Strus? Do you think at this point, like, would you do Herb for Strus and that be considered a decent move?
I don't think they would do it.
Well, let's just say hypothetically that was the follow-up, right? You did Herb for Strus. Do you still feel like it's congested at the wing, or like it's kind of like, what's the point of doing this move? Because you could have done that individually without it. But so I'm just like, how would you feel if they did Herb for Strus? It would still say, what was the point of doing this move?
If you did Herb for Strus and I just got rid of Hawkins some kind of way, I'm guessing, then it would tell me that you just about to play a bunch of wings. Like you just about to have at all times, you're gonna have a undersized 4 or a rotation with like 2-3 wings on the floor and maybe one real like guard on the floor, maybe 2 max, like guys who are quote unquote under like traditional guards on the floor. Yeah, this is it's tough to do without. I think this is based on some conversations I've had just this morning since this been going on since we've been live. It's kind of like y'all did that without moving Hawkins. I wonder what all that's about. It just seems like everyone's confused. So, and maybe that's the plan. Like, hey, we ain't need y'all to do shit. Like, see, then maybe they took some of their leverage back in their mind, right? So that could be the case. That could have been the play. That would have been a shrewd, smart move.
What you mean by that?
Like, for example, if the rest of the NBA world felt like, all right, it's been reiterated to me several times that the interest in Mathurin at one point seemed more on the Mathurin side, the WME side, right?
Yep.
And the Pelicans just like, well, fuck, if I get him for that cheap, I take him. And we need to do something. Like we have to do something. Like, right. And that being the case, people were like, well, since I know you can't do anything without moving Hawkins, I'm gonna stick it to you. So it's gonna cost you a couple. Yeah, but now you like, well, see, look, wait a minute, bitch. I did something and I ain't have to move him. So now, maybe I got a little leverage back. Like, but it's potentially, right? If they really do still have that much interest in Hawkins, then in Mathurin, then I don't know how much this really helped their case. But because now you got even less money to work with. So now if I wanted to play devil's advocate, I would say, well, now you got even less money to work with. You still only got this. You need to create a roster spot by moving Hawkins, and the max you can offer. You got even less money now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the max you could offer Mathurin at this point, even if I took him totally and then give you any salary back, would be around maybe 13 million. You couldn't even offer him the full MLE right now, if I'm not mistaken. Unless this deal is just a training camp invitation. Like I haven't seen that clarified.
It says, hold on, from Shams, free agent Trendon Watford has agreed to a 1-year, $2.9 million deal with New Orleans. Sources tell ESPN. Watford considered multiple options before New Orleans. So that's another thing that's interesting too. If he chose New Orleans, Watford considered multiple options before New Orleans served as a productive two-way get late in the offseason after a year in Philadelphia where he notched 2017 and 10.
I thought he was about to go overseas at first.
Maybe. It's probably more, being honest,
that'd be a lot of fake rumors though.
Yeah, and you probably could get a bigger deal overseas. You know what I mean? Like the money overseas ain't bad if it's about the money, but if you want to stay in the league, and I'd imagine if they say he chose New Orleans again, LSU guy, been here before, I would also think if your NBA career is on the line, there has to be some guarantee of minutes, right? And that's been the thing about a lot of people that they've been rumored.
Guarantee playing time.
You have to, it's like Ben, for example. If you were to bring in Ben Mathurin, where are the minutes gonna come from? So I just think there's a natural what's the word? Like there just must be the idea. We all keep talking about this. You have to consolidate. You have to consolidate. I just think we don't have a solidified role to offer someone in a deal at this point. I just think the idea in the building, I think they all understand at some point, if you want to reshape the roster and your image moving forward, you have to have players that you like. And then at some point, you have to be able to get rid of some of the players of the previous regime. That's just kind of how it goes. You know, it's a good question. How long normally in a situation like this where because they didn't just completely blow it up immediately. It normally takes about 2, maybe 3 seasons to completely shift from a previous regime's players to more your guys via, you know, a couple drafts, a couple free agent cycles.
Guess it really depends on what the ownership wants. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like,
that's a good point.
I would say probably about 3 years.
About 3 years.
And they might view it as this is their first true evaluation year. Like, they could potentially view it as that. Like, when we ain't had the guys we wanted, we ain't had a coach we wanted, we ain't have nothing. We had the staff we wanted, we ain't have anything. Yeah. So now we finally about to put these things in place, and this is our first real opportunity. And truthfully, that's fair. I do think it's not unfair to, you know, want that. Like, you know what I'm saying, and view that. I know people's patience isn't there, but like for us, the fan base, because it just looks like the same faces. Even if it was a new regime, the faces haven't changed. So it looks like there's been no internal change. But this is an interesting move.
Let me throw a question at you that we've been I just thought about this as we've been kicking this around last couple weeks, but Amanda Green has had a very high influence in, you know, the players that they've signed moving forward. Like, for her to sign off on bringing in this player, this wing, and I don't think they're doing anything at this point just to appease, right? Like, I don't think we're moving forward. Like, all right, if one person wants a wing and another person wants a big, I don't think they're just like, all right, we just gonna appease this motherfucker by signing somebody so we could really do what we want. Like, I don't think they're operating like
with impunity.
Under those kinds of circumstances. So for Amanda Green to sign off on like this, because if I'm not mistaken, this is really her first move since, well, I mean, the DeAndre Jordan, but we knew about DeAndre Jordan. So this is kind of her first move also since she's coming to the building, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, to my knowledge, I know they had the training camp invites, but this would be one of the first official moves.
Yeah. So I would imagine like now everything moving forward kind of ties her signing off on said deal as well. When previously most of the deals that we talked about is even DeAndre Jordan to a degree has been tied to Joe and Troy and all of that. Like now her signing off on this, do you think that like just kind of solidifies moving forward? Like, okay, a plan must be in place for her to sign off on, okay, let's go get this deal done. So now we could really get some things moving. Or maybe there's something that she likes that says, okay, let's get this done so then we could get things going. Camp is 2 weeks away, something like that. Let's start really making these moves and getting something in place. What do you think about that idea?
I mean, it's not like far-fetched, but admittedly, I don't know. She doesn't have an extensive public track record. Okay. So I just know that what seems to be her focus as far as like being analytically driven and things along those lines. But aside from that, I don't really know like where she stands with certain things and certain archetypes and certain things. So, you know, I don't have a track record of her moves like I would a Danny Ainge or Sam Presti, you know. So, or even Troy Weaver at this point. But
okay,
I think everything so far the Pelicans have done, even if you've been in a little bit like abreast of some of their moves, it's come across as random. So this to me comes across as not necessarily random, but surprising, given that Hawkins wasn't traded in this deal, or like he wasn't traded somehow already. Like they did this without trading Hawkins, and you still got the 3 guys that you offered an opportunity to compete for a roster spot to in training camp. Herb still on the roster. Like it's just, to me, it's just perplexing. Like unless another deal could happen today, we don't know.
Yeah,
another one can happen tomorrow. Like we really don't know. Might not see another deal till September. Like we absolutely have no idea. But it's still like, okay, what the fuck is this about? Like, that's kind of So I can't really speak to Amanda's thought process at this stage.
Okay. Well, man, look, I'm not gonna hold y'all too long, bro. We again, top of the morning to everybody. I think we've covered a good bit of information with this. Again, what I think it signifies is that it is interesting. I like the player. Shout out to my partner Mike. As soon as Watford was available and hit free agency, he was one of the first players he said I would like on this particular roster. Said it fits Mosley's kind of thought process and scheme moving forward. So like shout out to him, because again, when soon as free agency started, this was one of the players that he was like, I really would like him, the Brandon Carlsons of the world, those types of players.
Let me say this as well. Oh, and shout out to Mike as well. I know when I spoke about MPJ the other day, I know some people were like, well, you're gonna need defense. As far as like, I'm like, of course you need defense. But you also can't at this point, you got PV, Watford, Herb, DeJounte, like these 4 quote unquote defensive archetype. You really can't have a pack of motherfuckers like this. Like you really somebody gotta be like, good. Like, and I don't mean good as in like these aren't good players. Somebody gotta be able to get you some buckets, like for real. Even if that's not their role, they gotta be able to like do that. Someone has to be able to do something. Somebody has to be able to shoot threes. Somebody has to be able to do something at a high clip. So that's why I'm like, no. Most rosters might have 2 motherfuckers like that. Like 3 maybe. If you're the Pelicans,
PV
you're talking
right
about
now. Just to your point, you just don't even know yet.
Yeah, like with PV is like, all right, second year, he's probably not gonna play. But that's a roster spot. Watford is like, if you don't do nothing else, he won't play, because where would he fit in the rotation? Herb is like, all right, he's going to play. DeJounte is starting. So I'm like, no, it's too many people like this. It's about one too many people like this. Now, I don't care which one to replace necessarily. My preference would be Herb. And I know you're not going to replace Watford because he just got here. But it's like, no. Like something got to be followed. So there has to be a next move. Could you do DeJounte? Does that salary work, DeJounte, for MPJ straight up? Does that work, or is the gap in salary too much? I think you could do it, but you'll get hit over the head. I think it's like 8 because it's an $8 million gap. No, you get hit. Well, that too probably, but you get hit over the head because you taking back an additional $8 million. Because my thought would be, if I was about like I like to do these just like theoretically, because if I did, let's say I signed Watford, it makes, again, we talked earlier about the Herb and Hawkins for Miles Turner, right? I think you could do that. You do that, and then it would create a little bit. You would create a little bit of money right there, would you? No, I think you lose a little money with that. Say that one more time. The Herb and you lose $4 million. Herb and Hawkins for Miles. Herb and Hawkins for Miles. You take a hit there.
Yeah, you take a little hit there, because then my thought would be if you did Herb and Hawkins for Miles, brought Miles in, and then you still found a way to go get MPJ. You know what I mean? Like if you could do DeJounte, or even if it was DeJounte or Poole straight up, Poole would be a little bit more on the like easier to take from a salary standpoint. But if you did like Poole and something for MPJ straight up, that's a not so bad situation. But that's a lot of moves. I don't see him doing that.
Yeah, I was at, most teams only do like 2 moves off season. So I'd be shocked if they were just doing like 3 and 4.
Well, I just know you have to. I think you have to do something with Hawkins, and I think you almost have to do something with Herb, right? Yeah. So I just think it aligns with, like, if you did, again, I think if you did Miles, it would be a solid deal to get like a spacing big man, and if the opportunity was there, because I still value MPJ. So like,
I think they really want to give Eve a chance.
Okay,
like that's my understanding, that they like,
okay,
we really want to give.
They really
a chance.
Okay,
and it's such a premium on centers right now. Like shit, they might want a first, or they might want a first for Miles. They might want some seconds for Miles at this point, because if you're gonna get a center, and we all know you desperately need a center if you're the Pelicans. At least that's the perception. So I think they gonna give Eve a chance, and if it ain't working, then they be like, all right, fuck, we gonna have to figure something else out, or do it with all these wings.
Because that was my thought. It's kind of like, I just wondered how and I think they like Eve, but you know what I mean. I just wonder how they viewed him in terms of like time and minutes, because that would add depth to. But
I'm sure if there was an an upgrade, they would go get it. But for like, what it might cost,
Miles as an upgrade over Eve right now.
You said, do I view him as an upgrade?
Yeah,
not necessarily. Not for what they need, because it ain't like Miles ain't fucking Karl Anthony Towns, or like he don't rebound. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you would still need Eve to play a big role, even if you had Miles, and that's the. It's like, well, fuck, do I want to pay this motherfucking $30 million, and I be saying to myself, damn, I need a center.
I could have just started Eve.
Another cheap motherfucker to pair with Eve, and just
But
you know what? If I was them, bro, I don't think they'd do it. If I was them, I'd be trying to shout out to I see in the building. I'd be trying to send like Herb and Hawk to Chicago for Jalen Smith, and
I like that move.
A pick or something like that. Like, even if it was like a protected first, I'd be trying to do that just so I can get.
Would you do the Herb and Hawk for because I think salary wise it worked for both, but like for Patrick Williams and Jalen Smith? I know Patrick.
I don't think it would work for because Jalen Smith make $8 million, right?
Yeah, I know him and Hawkins around the same, and I know Patrick and Herb are like kind of close in salary as well. If that deal got you a pick, or you don't think you still create the same log jam at forward if you did that.
It's still a log jam. Now, what you did add though, you did add some shooting, rim protection, and rebounding across the board, because Patrick Williams can shoot. Now I don't know where again now, but it's still like, all right, well, for where the fuck is he gonna play? So I think, and you had to, you wouldn't have a roster spot to offer any of these camp guys.
Yeah,
I would just see if they would if I'm not mistaken, Jalen Smith make like
$9 million.
You make $9 million, right? So. Yeah, I would see if they'd just be willing to take Herb, dog, and I would just figure out something else with Hawkins. Like, but or like if it was something like
talking about Watford, it's a good point.
Like Herb and like Dalen Swain, and I could just waive Dalen Swain. Like, you know what I'm saying? Herb and one of these like bottom of the Rob Dillingham Nah, not Dillingham, but because he makes too much money. But Herb and like somebody who's like Swain, who's a little cheaper, I could potentially waive, and I could just have that that roster spot open, or I could just do something else with it, because they still need three-point shooting somewhere. All these guys ain't gonna play. That's another thing. Like, all these guys ain't gonna play. Like, even if you brought in, like, the only people that would actually play, I would imagine, would be someone like Ben Mathurin if you brought him in, because he probably ain't gonna let you not play him. So like,
I think he averages 16 on the career also. So it's kind of
like why wouldn't you?
He's playing. Yeah, he's playing.
I'd be arguably the third best player on this team. Like, there's a real conversation for it. So bro, they got to consolidate. It all boils down to you need to consolidate. You need to consolidate, bro. Need to consolidate. On Swain, well, I was just throwing a random name out there. I was just throwing a low money person out there. Even if it was Dillingham, made too much money, but I was just throwing a name out there.
It's gonna be. I'd say this. It'll be very interesting what it is they do moving forward, because again, all it is, it shows that they have to consolidate. Again, my biggest takeaway from this is that it just makes.
I just thought of something. I'm sorry. Cool. Would you do?
Oh, you good?
If it was Herb and Hawkins for just Patrick Williams in the first? Because I probably would do that.
Probably.
I would do that.
First, a Chicago first, yeah, I'd do it.
I would do that.
Do you? Patrick Williams got how many deals? Again, let me.
Like so 2 years or something like that.
My question for you again would be: do you think it addresses any of the?
It addresses shooting. It certainly addresses shooting. Patrick Williams can shoot. He can't do nothing else, but he can. And I told, like, he's like, when I looked at his career shooting numbers, I was shocked at how well this dude shoots, bro. Like, he can fucking shoot. He ain't like his career average is 38% from beyond the arc.
Really? Oh, what's his attempts?
His attempts is he only averaged a little over 3 attempts, but like. He shot 41% on 3.4 attempts, 39% on 3.4 attempts, 35% on 4.3 attempts, and 34% on 3.8 last year. Patrick Williams can shoot. He not like a fucking sniper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 30. But he got 2 40% shooting years. Like so he averaged 30.
If you had to choose between Patrick Williams and Jalen, it is Jalen Smith. Which one would you prefer?
I think one helps me get rid of both guys. So probably Patrick Williams. But I like Jalen Smith more than Patrick Williams. I just think Patrick Williams will help me get rid of both guys and open that roster spot. For whatever that's worth, because shit, you might not need a roster spot at this point, unless you paying like Coloco or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think one of those dudes I think they figure out a way, honestly, to bring one of those guys in, and they still have a two-way spot available as well. So, and again, two ways. The thing about the two ways that they've been bringing in, damn near every year, the two-way guys prove to be almost decent enough to fucking make the roster. Like, Bryce was a two-way guy that got an opportunity, and he ended up being one of your better players. And you see two-way guys almost yearly around the league turn out to be very solid, right? And there's again, Coloco, like, if you did do something right now, they probably high on Coloco as well. Like, so you might end up in a situation where, kind of like what you said, is like, if y'all willing to do Herb and Hawk just to create the roster spot. If I got a pick, created a roster spot, and then brought in was able to sign Coloco, that might, you know what I mean? That might help. So I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting. I like the trade. I like to see a Herb and Hawkins for Nembhard and Jarvis Walker. I know you big on Nembhard, but I can say this is something to look at with Indiana, because I think Indiana needs to consider their defensive wing position as well. moving forward, because that's an all offense kind of team right now. So like maybe they would consider looking at a Herb Jones and whatnot, and they probably be able to make more with their offense with Hawkins as well. Jarvis Walker, I'm not so sure. Patrick Williams not a free agent until 2029. That's a lot of long-term salary as well. So I don't know how that.
He only got 2 years left on his deal after this year.
But he's so this year's 27 and then 28, 29. So that's I mean that's about right. So I guess it depends on what it is, what the goals are moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, fuck, if you're getting rid of Herb and he's taking a pay cut, he actually shoots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Herb making 20, 22, 20. No, was it like 20, 22, 26, something crazy. This Patrick Williams stays at 18 million. So
yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, I do like I like Nembhard, but again, Nembhard right now would be like your third guard. I guess you still got Poole in that situation. Jarvis Walker hadn't really got much of an opportunity, so it'd be interesting to see what he looks like in the rotations and whatnot. This will be the last one, and we get ready to get out of here. What happens to the training camp deals? Since we have no roster spots, moves kind of have to be on the way. At the end of the day, I just think that's kind of what all of this signals is that, and it's crazy how like this move, like signing someone as opposed to releasing someone, kind of would signal that. But again, to the point of that, you haven't really addressed what they thought the issue was moving forward. I think now I just think they went from, instead of just outright cutting Hawkins, to make a move and bring somebody in, because we were saying how that don't really solve your issues either. I just think they look at packaging that player with Herb Jones, creating more of an opportunity that way. So I just think that's the route. We'll see what it is they do moving forward, but that's pretty much my thoughts. Any last thoughts you got, bro?
Nah, this is just one of those why would they do that moves, like the Wendy meme, like because the first move in that was trading Royce O'Neal, if I'm not mistaken. So this is kind of like y'all signed this guy randomly. It's kind of random that you would do that. Why would you do that? Like, that's kind of like, so now I got questions like what's next. So that's pretty much what I think.
I agree. Chaz, man, tell the people where they can find you, bro.
At Cheddar Chaz on Twitter and Instagram, Cheddar Chaz 7. No, I'm sorry, Cheddar Chaz 9 on YouTube. Cheddar Chaz on YouTube. I'm on a bit of a hiatus right now. Really just, doing this one because something happened. If nothing happens, probably won't be doing many shows for now. So just so tap in, hit me up on social media, man, if y'all want to holler.
Absolutely. Well, make sure y'all sub the Pels in the Blender. We still rolling, you know what I mean? And I'll bring Chaz out of hiatus every so often. So make sure y'all tap in, man. So I appreciate everybody. I hope y'all have a blessed and exciting morning. Appreciate everybody for joining the stream. Make sure y'all hit that like button. That's gonna do it for Chaz. I made Davis Pels.
Pels in the blender.